What's up, everybody? It's your boy K, back at it again with another college football 25 tutorial video. I got the comments, I heard what people were wanting, and it was a recruiting video. So, in this video, I'm going to start from scratch. Literally just created my coach, just now signing the contract. So, what I plan on doing is I'll go through the beginning stages of recruiting and setting up your recruiting board, what to look for. And pretty much the rest of it I'm gonna ignore. I just started this with Nebraska and not too interested in actually having a career with Nebraska, but also for the sake of time, I know you guys don't want to be watching me do the custom schedules and etc. So we're gonna start off with setup recruiting board. Now this is literally the first option that you get to whenever you start your dynasty. And the immediate thing that I do, according to tier, right? So this is Nebraska. I think they're like either a 3-star or a 4-star school. So you do have an opportunity to get at some of these 5 stars, but it would probably be very rare for a 5-star to actually start off already interested in your school. For example, like a Notre Dame, like an Ohio State or Alabama or Georgia. In those schools, you'll start off with 5 stars already with interest in you. But that doesn't mean you can't get the 5 stars. So what I immediately do is click in the R3 analog, and you have to see where your team's already at. So as you can see right here, I only have 3 quarterbacks, but my best quarterback is a freshman. And so I'm going to have him for a while. So freshman's probably not a position I'm going to be prioritizing while I'm doing my recruiting. I'll probably get one more just for depth's sake, but it can be someone who, we'll get into it later, but it can be someone who doesn't have too many scholarships that you don't have to really compete for. You can just throw him a scholarship, throw him a little bit of time, and throughout the season, if no one else is giving him attention, he'll just immediately gravitate towards you. And then you have running back. I have one senior running back. He's the better running back, so my starter. But I also have Dowdle down there, a power back. He's a sophomore. He'll still be here next year. I have another sophomore, another junior, and a freshman. So it says I need 2. I would say I always like to have at least 5 running backs on the roster. And so with that one senior leaving, it would probably be better to get, at least 1. It says I need 2. I don't really know if I need 2, but at least 1 since I have some solid contributors for next season and a freshman that is up and coming. And that's kind of how I go through every position. I look at, what the team's going to need for next year. Like here it says I'll need 2 left tackles, but my best left tackle is a junior. He'll still be here next year. And then I have a freshman who's 74 overall is not bad. That's probably like a 3-star. So even after Prochashka, even after, geez, he's 6'10", that's crazy. Even after he ends up leaving, I'll have Brick stepping in, and so I'll at least need to get 1 or 2 more left tackles before the end of next season. So that's not really a position I'll be prioritizing. But here, for example, at center, my starter is a senior. He's 80 overall, and then behind him is a freshman who's a 68 overall. And so at the center position, I definitely need to try and get someone who's better, 4-star, 5-star if it's available. That way they can maybe step in and immediately compete with Sledge to try and start. Because in the off season, Sledge, he'll go through the training and he'll probably get a little bit better, but it'll be like a 73 overall, 74 overall maybe if you had a good off season. And so that's what a 4-star comes in at. And so you would want someone to compete with him. And then not only, I like to also have at least 3 centers on the depth chart because I like my long snapper to not be someone who's going to be playing. So yeah, we'll get into that. But let's start from the top again. So like I said, at quarterback, we probably would like to get 1 and we'll go for 2 probably because it's saying we need 2. And well, I don't know, freshman quarterback, we really only need 1. So what I'm gonna do here, I'll go to the quarterbacks tab and prospect list, and since it's not really a huge priority, I'll go to intention or interest, I mean, first, see who's actually interested. Not really. I mean, you have a couple of 4 stars, you're on their radar, but I also like to pay attention to pipeline influence. If they're, for example, this Funchess dude, he's not in my pipeline at all. He's from Kansas, and it also doesn't look like any of his top 5 schools right now are a Kansas school. So, whatever pipelines like Colorado or Oklahoma or Iowa might have for them, their pipelines are probably going to be better than yours. You don't have a pipeline, and in the long run, that'll make the difference. Um, so pipeline's something I would like to pay attention to. Let's we'll go back to rating it by national rank. Um, and we'll probably target maybe a 3-star. And with these, well, I'll get into that in a second. I was going to talk about scholarships and offering them scholarships, but we'll get there in a second. But also pay attention to the tendency of each player. What type of offense do you run? This is Nebraska. I don't know Nebraska too well, but I'm pretty sure they're a handed off type of offense. They like to prioritize the run game. They like to bring out the I formations and the tight ends and the fullbacks. And so, with that being said, field general would be a solid tendency to have for your offense. Someone who's like a scrambler would be more of a spread offense or an option type of offense. And that's not what really we run. I also like to look at the height and weight of every player that I get. You know, I want the size. I want what each position should look like. So, for example, I'm not really going to be looking at a guard that's probably like this guy. Even though he's a 4-star, he's 6'2". Now, 328 is not bad. I like the weight. But like this guy, 6'1", 290. And to be honest with you, it really doesn't have much to do with their performance on the field. You can be small. You can have a small offensive lineman and they still be dogs. But I just think it looks real goofy if you end up having a 6'8", 330-pound left tackle, but then a 6'1", 290 guard right next to him. I'm someone who really loves to focus on realism, and to me, that just looks like you're legit playing a video game. So with that being said, back to the whole size thing. We're gonna target that. Where'd he go? 6'4" field general. We have him with the second tier pipeline, and I'm already in his top 8. So it'll be a bit easier just throwing him a scholarship early on, which we probably won't. I mean, I might. We'll see. We'll see what's available. I have 875 hours up there, and that's important. We'll keep that in mind as we go along a little bit. So back to running back. Like I said, we need at least 1, preferably 2. So we'll just look. Always sort it according to rank. You want the top guys to be at the top. Yeah, this guy's he's a 4-star. We have him as a pipeline tier 3, and we're 7th on his map. So you have pretty solid odds of competing for him. Some of his top schools are Georgia, Bama, Florida, Texas down there too. So if they choose to go after him as well, you know, you're gonna have a real competition on your hands. But we'll go ahead and put him on the chart. I think he's someone we can go after. One thing to keep in mind, even though you might be competing with schools like Georgia and Texas and Bama, a guy like Angelo, who is a 4-star and a ranked 291st in the nation, he might be someone that a school like Georgia is allocating like 10 hours towards. You know, they probably have 2 or 3 better running backs that they're going after. And so even though he's good to you, he may not be good to other big schools. And if you're selling out, if you're throwing all 50 hours towards a dude like Angelo, and a school like Georgia's only throwing 10 hours, you're more likely to get him. So don't be scared to try and compete, at least for the initial stages to see where you're sizing up to the other schools. And so that's our one that we're going after for sure. It's not really a huge priority, but we'll see how we compete with the other schools. And then we'll go after this Willis dude too. He's also an elusive back. I like a solid elusive back. I like speed. Even though we're not in his pipeline tier, we are fourth on his interest chart, and that's better than everyone else that's being recommended. I also want you guys to know that the recommended pile of players that you're recruiting is not all of the players available. You can go to any state and it'll show you every single running back that is available. Now, a lot of these people don't pop up in your recommended because you don't stand a chance of getting them. But if you wanted to try and compete, if you won the championship for a couple of years and there's some 5 stars that you think you would have a shot at grabbing, go for it. Why not? Like this dude, Amerson. He's in your pipeline, okay, but he has no interest for going to your school. So I'm not going to go after him because, like I said, running back's not a priority of my off-season recruiting. I guess he was there too, wasn't he? He's in your recommended. But like this guy, running isn't in your recommended. And he's someone, he has no interest in you and there's no pipeline or anything. But if you selected him and threw him on your chart and threw all the points towards him, eventually you'd be on the map for him. Now you're less likely to get him, but why not go after him if it's a position you really want to prioritize? So we have the running backs that we're going after. We got a quarterback. We don't need a fullback. He's a junior. At wide receiver, we are looking rough. Looks like, so 3 seniors. We have 3 seniors, and all of them are good. Besides that Garcia dude. And who's up next? So Lloyd, it looks like. Oh wait, no, Coleman right there. Coleman will be our next up, and he's a sophomore. He's going to be the best wide receiver for next year. And then it would be Lloyd, another sophomore, and then it looks like Bonner, sophomore. So even though it's telling you you do not need anyone, I don't like having a 66, 68, and 66 again. Overall, 67 freshman. Like those are about two-star tiers. And so I'm at least going to go after like one wide receiver. I think every recruiting class I go after, especially, after I start trimming it down, because these are the rosters that was given to me. Once I've been in it for 2 or 3 years and the people are graduating and you're starting to see your recruiting classes come through, usually the way I do my wide receivers is I like to get at least one tall guy, so 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", and above. And then I like to get small guys too for the slot positions. Like this guy, 5'10". I would be looking at him in route running specifically. I just got this guy because I like he's a 6'2" route runner. He could possibly play slot if he's fast, which we'll get into the scouting here in a bit. This guy's a 6-foot deep threat. So we'll throw him on the map too. And we're only going to go after 2 since it's not really recommending we go after any. But that's kind of my thought process behind that. If it was a position you're not really prioritizing, you could look for some 3 stars. A lot of 3 stars don't get looks. There's a lot of 3 stars. Like I told my roommate the other day, he plays this game. You should never, ever be recruiting a 2-star or under. Obviously not a 1-star, but don't recruit a 2-star. There are 3 stars out there that will get no college offers, no scholarships from other schools. And you might have to wait until later in the season to see who those people are. I definitely wouldn't suggest doing it early. But just for this sake, this guy's the best ranked 3-star there is, it looks like. He's a 5'8 route runner. We'll go ahead and add him to the map, and we'll act accordingly to him. Like, he's someone I probably won't give a scholarship to early on. But we're going after these two 4-stars, and I doubt, like, probably this Massey dude, if Oklahoma's going after him or Texas is going after him, I doubt we'll have a chance at getting him. But you might as well, throw your hat in the ring and see. So, next up's tight end. Geez, we have 4 juniors, a freshman, and a sophomore. Now, it looks like we'll have next year 2 seniors that are going to be contributing and a junior that'll be contributing, and the other ones are garbage. When it comes to tight ends, I like to have a bare minimum of 4. And then I also, just like to make sure that I'm not, pulling in 4 freshmen and then they're all going to be graduating around the same time. So I like to have a rotating door of tight ends, developing. That way, whenever one is becoming a starter, they're going to be becoming a starter by their junior or senior year, and they're already well developed. Tight end to me is a very important position. And especially, like I said, with an offense like the Nebraska Cornhuskers, I guarantee you they have a lot of 2 tight end, 3 tight end sets. So we are going to go after a tight end, even though it's telling us not to. But we're just going to go after one. And the tight ends, they don't really get recruited as aggressively as the other positions. So if you see, like for this, for example, I'm going to look at the 5 stars. Now, neither of them are available to me. We have deal breakers already, so proximity to home for both of them. This dude's California, this dude's Ohio. They don't want to come to Nebraska. Oops. But we'll go back and we'll look at the 4 stars. And we're going to try, and I also, when it comes to tight ends, I very much so prioritize size. So we'll go through, like this dude, 6'2", 250. I'm not really interested in a 6'2" tight end. I'm not saying they're bad. Like I said, the size doesn't mean much. It's all about the overalls. It's just same with the linemen. But definitely looks better if you have that 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" even tight end. Like this guy, he's in our recommended. We have a 2nd tier pipeline, and he's 4th. We have him as a 4th interest. So he's definitely one I'm going to go after. 6'6" possession too. Blocking, I always like a blocker, but the blockers are always slow. So with an offense like the one we run, I'm going to throw this dude. I know I said I'd only go after one tight end, but since we're already on the interest chart and he's a 6'5" blocker, we're going to throw him in there too. And each year, like I said, I probably like to have at least 4, probably maximum 6 tight ends on the roster. And I like to divvy it up between blocking tight ends, possession tight ends, vertical threats. I like to have pretty much one of each. And really just one who can go out and catch the ball and one who's a solid blocker. So we'll go after those 2. Next up, tackle. So we already discussed the tackle. It's not really a priority, but we do need to get somebody. And let's see since they group the tackles together, I like to look at both of them at the same time. So here, as you can see, we have a really good freshman already. He's a 76 overall, so that probably means he was a 4-star coming in. He's gonna be starting at some point, so right tackle is not really a priority. And then after our senior leaves, we're still gonna have 3 on the roster. And whenever it comes to the offensive line positions, I like to have a bare minimum of 3 at each spot. So like here, while there's 4 here, next year whenever we start doing our encouraged transfers to get rid of some people, I would probably be looking at one of those freshman guards. Because we have a sophomore that's going to be starting for the next couple of years. So guard's not a priority. Like I said before, center is a priority. We definitely need to get a right tackle. Or a right guard, I mean. We probably need a couple of right guards. Yeah. Because I don't want either Borchers or Knack starting next year. They both look trash. So we're looking for one left tackle that's not a priority, a center that is a priority, a right guard that is a priority, and we're not really concerned with right tackle. So just really center and guard are the main spots that you need to get. We'll start off with center over here. Okay, we got a couple of 4 stars. Are there any 5 stars? That would be nope. So no 5 stars available to us. So we'll stick to the recommended. We'll try to get someone who's already interested. None of them are in my pipeline though. And then also, like I said before, the tendency. So try to think about what type of offense you're going to be running. If I'm going to be running the ball a lot, I'd probably want a power type of guy. Now, when it comes to center, you're going to have a lot of agile people. And agile's honestly not bad because, like I said before, I like to look at long snapping. And typically my long snapper would be an incoming freshman. And if you get a center with an agile tendency, they're going to be faster. And so long snapping is the person that's on your punt team. And as soon as they snap the ball, if they have an 80 speed, your center can be one of the first people down the field. He can, make a big play. He can save a play. So that I like to keep little things like that in consideration. Since these guys are pretty much all the same, only thing that I'm going to prioritize amongst them is the size. And it looks like Brandon Washington here is 6'4", 6'1" here, and 6'2" there. So we're going to go after the 6'4" guy. And I think I only needed one, right? Yeah, we got one leaving. That would only give us 2 on the roster. So we're going to go after 2. I like to have at least 3. So, and we'll try to, if we're already on the map for these other guys as far as interest, we might as well go after one of them as well. So go after a couple of 4 stars. And when it comes to the center and the offensive guards, I find typically that teams don't hit them as hard unless they're like a 5 star. So you have a better chance of getting those type of people if you're selling out. So next up, I said before, we need a guard that's going to start for us next year. So with that being said, you have a 5 star right here. He has no interest in your school. He's from Wisconsin. No type of pipeline. Wisconsin's #1 on his map. You also have schools like Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame. I mean, you're in there with the big dogs if you're going after him. 6'4", 280, agile. I don't really like his weight. He's a little light, but he's a 5 star, so things like that don't matter. We're going to go after him. There could be very little shot of getting him, but we're at least going to try because, like I said, he's going to be starting for us next year, whoever we're getting here. And just in case he fails, in case we fail to get him, I guess, we are going to go after at least one more good player. Even though I told you before I don't really like this guy's size, he's already #1 in interest. He could be a little bit easier to get. And so we're going to go ahead and target him. And we'll get one more. We'll go after one more just for the sake of depth, just in case, I don't get that 5 star and then this Days dude ends up being trash. We'll at least have one more person who can try and develop. And we'll go after this dude since he's 8th in the interest already. So that's our guards. And then it's set on the thing that we need 3 tackles, but I really don't think we need one for right tackle. And we need one just for depth's sake with left tackle. So really I'm only looking for 1 tackle on the team. So we don't need to go after a 5 star. Don't even waste the time. I like this dude because he's a power and we have a pipeline with him. He's a 4-star, so we'll throw him on the charts. I know it says that he's a right tackle, but you can change positions as they come in onto your team, and even in the depth chart. I don't know why I keep accidentally clicking that. But you can go after him even though he's a right tackle, and you can change him over to left tackle. But we're going to grab him, and then I kind of just want to look for someone. There's not really anyone who has a high interest in coming there. These are literally the only 2 people who are interested in your school to start off with. So we'll go ahead and go after him too. And we're doing that just to make it easier on ourselves. These aren't people that we're going to be hitting hard in recruiting. These are people that we kind of hope that we can do the bare minimum and still snag them to come to our school. So that's the offense. We got the tackles, we got the guards, we got center, the tight ends, wide receivers. I think we're pretty set on the offensive side, and that's 15 targets. Now when you click R3, the analog, you can see at the bottom there it says need, the need category, and for offense it says 10. So you're going to need 10 people filling in. We're going after 15. That's for the extras, and that's just in case, you know, it's going to happen where you're going to be recruiting players and they're not going to be interested in your school. They're going to commit to other schools. So that's given us a little leeway with that. But keep in mind, if you go after all 15 of your players and you end up getting all 15 of your players, that's 5 players from your current roster that you have right now that you're going to have to end up cutting. So that's why I'm thinking ahead, like that Knack dude right there at right guard, he's probably someone I'm going to cut. He's a 50 overall. Like I said before, there's a couple of wide receivers that I don't really like. You know, the 66 overalls. They can go. Tight end here, 46 overall junior. I mean, he can go. I'm sure in real life that dude is like the long snapper. But I like to use centers for the long snapper. But like, just keep that in mind as you're recruiting. So now we're on to the defensive side. It looks like, oof. So I mean, there's 3 backups there that you see that are all in the 60s range as far as overall. I don't like that. You have one dude who's a junior speed rusher. This defense that I run is a 3-3-5. So you always have to keep that in mind, a 3-3-5. What type of a defense is that? That is, I like to think you would want DNs that are big run stoppers or power rushers, and then a D tackle that is a big power rusher. You know, it's kind of like a 3-4 setup. You want big linemen in a 3-3-5, but never forget that you also are still going to have your nickel packages. You're going to have your 4 lineman sets where you're going to want edge rushers. So it has to be a good mix, just like kind of what they have right here. It looks like your starter is a speed rusher, 6'4", 245. And then over here you got a 6'6" run stopper. So they kind of stagnate it a little bit. You got a rusher on one side and a run stopper on the other side. You can check out my depth chart video and see kind of how I set up a 4-3 defense. As far as in a base formation, I like run blockers, and then I like to also have my backup D linemen who are pass rushers, and I'll put them in as the rushing left end and right end, etc. And then here at D tackle, ooh, you're gonna have a hole next year. One of your best D linemen is a senior. He's going to be gone, and then when the next one coming in is a speed rusher, and he's a sophomore, 72 overall. So D tackle definitely has to be a position we're prioritizing. And at right end, to be honest, he's a senior too. So D line is something that we need to hit heavy. So we're going to go down here to the D end tab. We're going to set the rank. We're going to see who's up there that's interested. This guy's already has us ranked 3rd. He's a 6'5" power rusher. I love it. Yeah, we're gonna throw him on the chart because he's already kind of interested in us, and like I said, if they're interested in you early on, that makes it 10 times easier than trying to get on the map for someone who's not interested in you at all. But let's keep looking. So this guy is 39 rank. We're 8th on his chart. We're not a pipeline, but he's 6'6", 250 power rusher. I like his size. I can already see a lineup where I have someone like this dude, 6'6", and then someone like this dude, 6'5", as the starting in the 3-3-5. And then I would like an edge rusher. So probably one of these guys. Now this guy, we're in his pipeline, we're 7th. This guy's 10th. So I'm going to go after this guy. He's 6'1", 240. He's someone that, you know, will be in our nickel packages and passing downs. He'll try to get to the quarterback, and hopefully he's fast. How many did it say we needed? It says we needed 2 DNs. We only have 1 senior leaving the end spots, so going after 2 I think is fine. And if we for some reason aren't able to compete for those 2 guys, or I guess 3 guys, then we'll have to later in the season look at some 3 stars just to fill in for depth's sake. But we definitely need to get one of these right ends, so we're going to be hitting that hard. And then D tackle here, I'm thinking we go after 2 D tackles. And in a 3-3, I typically want my D tackle to be a great block shedder. Now we have a 5-star up here, 6'2" run stopper, 315 pounds. He's a 5-star, and his top schools Bama, Ohio State, Georgia. I mean, you'd really have to throw the fence at him to get him. He's not interested in your school at all, so it's a super long shot. He's number 1 in the nation, guys. We're going to throw our hat in the ring, because why not? We need the position. He's exactly what we would want. And we do have a pipeline with him, which gives us a little hope. So, just in case we don't get him, though, we're going to go after 3 of these D tackles, including him. So, this guy's a 6'3" run stopper. We don't have a pipeline, but we are ranked 9th. And he's a 4-star, so I don't think teams will recruit him as heavy. If we're throwing the, everything at him, we might have a chance. So we're going to throw him on there too. Plus I like his size. This guy is 6'2", is a little small for me, but I like it. This guy's 6'6". Now he's from Florida, and his top ranked schools are both Florida schools. He's a run stopper though. So I kind of like that too. So he's going to be the 3rd one we're throwing our bid in for. And just in case those ones aren't looking promising, because we're going to be having to really compete for Westbrook and Waiters up there with them not having any interest in our schools early. So we'll look at, these guys are speed rushers. This guy's the only run stopper. That's a 3-star. We're going to throw him on our chart just to have that backup for depth's sake. Because even a 3-star, I mean, if you look at that 3-star down there, I guarantee you his overall coming in will probably be like a 70, 72. And that still is going to be on par with Tagaloa right there and Lefotu. And plus Tagaloa is a speed rusher. I don't really care for that too much. I might even move him to like a DN spot in a 3-3. So, yeah, Shelly's someone that, just keep him on the radar just in case. Okay, linebackers now. So we're looking really young at linebacker. We have a senior that's graduating. For some reason is a power rusher. In a 3-3 defense, you would want probably run stopper / pass coverage outside linebacker tendencies. Here at middle linebacker, our starting middle linebacker is a junior, so we'll have him next year. We'll have another junior starting next year too, so that'll be 2 seniors, and then we'll have 2 sophomores that are very average. So that gives us 4 linebackers. 4 linebackers is a good number to have in a 3-3. But I don't like the 70 and the 69 overall, so we're going to recruit at least one middle backer. And if you look here, just on your starting screen, this Redfield dude already has you first interest. So we're for sure going to recruit him. He's going to be our guy. Yeah. He's the best dude available, it looks like. Oh no, he's not, but he's the best dude as far as who's on the map for you. And I like his size a lot too. Size to me is everything, especially at linebacker spots. I like 6'2", 6'3" linebackers. So yeah, we're gonna go after him. This should be a easy recruit to snag. Let's see what these outside linebackers are looking like. So exactly what I thought. There's not too much in the recruiting pool for outside linebacker. So I'm gonna go back to middle linebacker and why not try to get one of these other guys, 6'3" run stopper. I mean, you can get someone like that and just, move his position to outside linebacker. And this dude's also a 6'3" run stopper. So I'm gonna go after all 3 of them. And I'm keeping in mind that, a couple of those guys might go to outside linebacker. On our need chart, it says we need 4 outside linebackers. Jeez, I didn't even look at the right. So this dude's graduating, our senior on this side. And yeah, our outside linebacking spot is going to be struggling next year. So we're going to need 2 freshmen to come in and start right away. And that can be these middle linebackers that you're recruiting. Yeah. You have to go heavy with the outside linebacker. And I'm considering even going after this 5-star here just to throw our hat in the ring and see if we have a chance at getting him. He could be since we have already middle linebackers that are interested in us, we won't have to commit as much early on towards them, so we can throw more towards this Millie dude. See if we can compete. His brand exposure, you need a bare minimum B-, and we have an A, so there's not any deal breakers that'll throw him off our chart. Yeah. We need 4 linebackers, 5 really if you're including the one at middle linebacker, and right now we're at 4. So let's look for another outside linebacker. So this guy's 6 foot, pass coverage. Only am looking at him because we have a 2nd-tier pipeline with him. This guy's a power rusher. I don't care for power rushers in a 3-3. So we'll go ahead and throw McKinnon on the chart too, just to see who's really recruiting him. If they're gonna recruit him heavily, then we'll probably stay away. And then let's look at one of these tier 3 guys. This guy's pass coverage, this guy's run stopper. I really like this dude's size, so we'll go ahead and go after him. So that's the linebacker spots, and then okay, so our best corner's graduating. We'll have a senior next year that'll be our new best, and then after that, junior, and then 2 sophomores. The rest of them, 60 overalls, I could care less about. So we're definitely going to go after at least 2 corners, I'm thinking. It looks like we're good at free safety. We're going to have a senior next year who's going to be a dog, and then we'll have a backup junior. And then there's 3 freshmen right there that are all going to be developing, so we don't need any free safeties for sure. And then here at strong safety, 2 of them are graduating. We'll have a senior that's going to be a dog, and then that freshman up there, 72 overall, hopefully he'll develop. So I don't really think we need to go after a strong safety either. So just 2 corners is left here, and we got 7 slots remaining. So one thing I really like to do with the corner spot is pay attention to that tendency. I like to run a lot of man in blitzing scenarios, but also zone. You know, you like to run both. But with the tendency, if they're a man-to-man tendency, then their zone's going to be slacking. If they're a zone tendency, then their man's going to be slacking. If they're a slot, though, like this guy, for example, he'll be better at both, but just not, perfect in either. And he'll be a better tackler as well. So slot position, or the slot tendency, is usually what I prioritize. Second priority for me would be man. And since this guy has us ranked 7th already in interest and he's 35th ranked, we're going to go ahead and throw him on there. I like his size too, 6'2". I like to have taller corners. But we're definitely going to throw this guy and probably this guy, the 2 slot positions as well on the map. And that's really all we need now. So 31 targets. Also, don't ever forget to go to special teams. Like, for example, we have a punter that's a senior. And our kicker is not really all that good. He's a 73 overall, but he's a sophomore, so we'll just leave it. It's not that important. But we need to go after a punter. So whenever it comes to the kicking and punting, I just go ahead and rank it. And nothing else really matters. Interest doesn't matter. Pipeline doesn't matter because they don't get recruited heavily. And for tendency's sake, I like to always go towards power. So we're going to just go ahead and go after this dude. He's 6'4", power tendency. It's good enough for me. Okay, so that's the longest part of the process. If you're still watching this video and listening, thank you so much. I know that was a lot. But we still have 3 slots left. So with those last 3 slots, I like to just go ahead and go to interest. Now, I told you before, we're not recruiting any 2 stars. 3 stars, this guy's a guard. He's a pass protector, though. Not really interested in that. I just like to fill out the depth chart just in case, This guy's a quarterback. I don't think we took any quarterbacks, even though it recommended us. Oh yeah, we do have one. We'll go ahead and we'll throw one of these guys. We'll probably throw this Funchess dude on there just to see if he's recruited. Since we're already 5th on his chart, might as well. Let's go back and once again see who's interested in us. Really, any 3-star and above is what we're looking for. Oh, that's still a quarterback, sorry. There we go. So, outside linebacker, no. Right end, he's a power rusher. 4-star. Yeah, let's throw him on there, sure. Got one more slot. I got him. This dude's a left end. Okay, we'll go ahead and go after this other left end. We're 7th on his ranking list, so. Okay, here's the fun part. Now, the preseason, when you're setting up your recruiting board, this is mostly for scouting and giving out scholarships. Those are the only things you can do. But with 5 stars, in my opinion, especially if you're a school like me, a 3-star, 4-star ranked school, you don't really need to scout them. You're going to be going after them, and if you get them, even if they're the bottom tier 5-star, you're going to be lucky because their overall is still going to be way better than a 3-star. And a 3-star is what like your bottom line should be. Getting a solid 4-star for a school like Nebraska, that's a success. You know what I'm saying? Getting a solid 4-star for a team like Ohio State, well, that's not really a priority there. They want 5 stars. They want the best. So with these guys, we're not going to scout them at all. But with the 4 stars, we'll go ahead and go to need not fully scouted. And you just click into them. You go to the scouting tab. Oh, pause. Before we do this, always remember that you start off every season with a coach skill. 5 points worth of coach skills. And for me, I always select recruiting. Now, if you go in, the first thing that you can purchase is scouting. So think about who you are recruiting heavily. Which position are you recruiting heavily? I believe D-line, excuse me. I believe D-line, we have a lot of people um, in our recruiting pool. So I'm going to throw my 5 points towards scouting D-line. That'll allow you to spend less points when you're scouting them. So since I did that, we're gonna just go ahead and immediately with the D line. Yeah, see, I have good amount. What's that? Nine players that we're recruiting just for the D line, and we're gonna go ahead and scout them. Ooh, so we got a green diamond. We're immediately gonna throw that guy a scholarship. Okay, we want him. 6'6". He's at 82 speed at 6'6". That is beautiful. We are going to recruit him very heavily. He's getting everything. Let's keep going. Another one. 84 speed. Now he's a speed rusher, so he's supposed to be fast. 85 finesse though. We're going to definitely try and go after him pretty heavily. Guy's not bad. Oh, we got a red one. A red X. So we are not going after that dude. We have enough other recruits here that are worthy. We're going to go ahead and throw them scholarships since they just at least passed the eye test. This guy, like I said, we don't need to scout no 5 stars. If we get him, we're blessed, regardless of whether they're a red X or not. Oh, I shouldn't have been doing that. We got to scout these dudes first. Okay, luckily, another green. Let's see what this dude, hopefully. Okay, at least he's not a red X, so we'll still throw him a scholarship. Oh, another green. Sweet. So we're going to give scholarships to all those guys and see where it pans out. Okay, that's for whatever recruiting points you threw towards to make it cheap. Now, with the rest of this, you have to keep an eye on how many hours you have. Towards the end, if you do the math, you have, well, I have, you know, if you fill out your chart completely, you have 35 targets, okay? And a scholarship costs 5 points, right? So if you're going to give everyone on your roster a scholarship at the start of the season so that you can already be on the map for them, you need to remember to at least save up, you know, I like to stop at like 200 hours. So with that being said, I have 595 hours right now. That means there's about 395 that I have to put towards scouting. You have to prioritize where you're scouting people if you're starting off with a school with less hours, because you're not going to be able to scout everybody. So typically the wide receiver spots are a spot I like to scout fully. Now this is only taking 20% each time. That means it's going to take 50 scouting hours to figure out whether this guy, you know, figure out his full scouting report. So I do it just enough until I see something that interests me. And already I can see he has a 94 agility. That's enough for me. You can see where the bar lies with his speed and his short route running, medium route running, etc. His catching. He looks good to me. So we're going to go ahead and throw him a scholarship. See where this guy pans out. So I'm not really seeing anything yet. Let's go again. 82 catching, 79 in traffic. That's pretty solid for a freshman. I like him. So we're gonna go after him too. And then the 3-star, I'm not really interested in right now. We're not gonna waste points trying to scout him. The tight ends, not as important. We don't need to scout the 5-star. And as a matter of fact, we might as well go back and just you know, hit the sort for national rank and go ahead and give all these 5 stars, which I'm only going after 3, but we're gonna go ahead and make sure they have scholarships. So continuing, we didn't get any of those. The next spot I really like to scout out is corner, because the number one thing for me is speed, and if you're slow, it's already a no for me. This guy's a 95 speed, that's good enough for me. See next. And typically I would scout all the way through, but like I said, we don't have too many hours, and these are costing, they're only giving us 20% per 10 we're spending. So 91 speed, good enough for me. We don't need to fully scout them. 68 zone coverage isn't too good, but I want to see a little bit more. Jeez, 89 agility. I mean, his speed could be slow. I'm still not completely sure. He's someone that I need to keep scouting. 91 speed. All right, so we're good. I'm gonna throw him a scholarship. And honestly, after that, maybe running back we should scout out a little bit. 79 break tackle. I like it. We'll go ahead and throw him a scholarship. Still not seeing as much as I'd like to see. 93 speed, perfect. Yeah, speed kills, guys. You want to go after people who are faster. We'll go ahead and do it ranked down. Quarterback, I'm not too. No, that's not a priority. I think this is one of our linebackers. Let's go ahead and see what he's working with. 88 speed, beautiful. I'll take him. Tackle, sure. So as you can see, these scouting points that we're putting towards are getting ate up pretty quick. 93 strength, I'll take it. Got a left guard here. We're already first on his interest, so we're just gonna leave him. I think this dude's another linebacker. See what he's working with. 91 speed at linebacker. Thank you. We'll take it. I don't care if he is a red X or not. 91 speed is solid. The red X really is only for development purposes. So towards his senior year, this guy is very average, it looks like. 76 blocking. I've kind of seen enough, honestly, but that is kind of a position I think we needed, right? Guard. Going after him. We already have him pretty much in the bag. Yeah, we'll keep scouting him because he's someone that we could take off the map, exactly. So we're not going to go after him. So let's go center next. 86 impact blocking, I like it. And we're nearing that 200. I know I've already given out a crap ton of scholarships, but we're nearing that 200 mark. Let's see how this guy is. His strength is towards the end of the bar, so we're going to go ahead and throw him a scholarship. But yeah, once you get to that point, you really want to make sure that you throw scholarships towards everyone you're going after in the first week, because it matters if they don't have a scholarship that next week, and you could already get locked out if you haven't thrown them a scholarship. So with everyone else that's remaining, even if we didn't scout them, even if we didn't scout them, we're going to throw scholarships at them. And worst case scenario, later on, see, unless they're a 3-star, I'm not going to throw scholarships at 3 stars yet. You'll have more time with the 3 stars. But everyone else, you get a scholarship, you get a scholarship. So we're down to 4. So we still have a little bit of wiggle room to scout some people. So let's keep on with it. Scout out this dude. We're already number 1. Honestly, I don't need to scout him. We're going to go after him regardless. But this dude's 6'6". I think he's an edge rusher. Oh, no, he's not. He's a tight end. Yeah, we'll take him. He's already good. '81 strength. So even though we threw him a scholarship, this is someone that we know we're not gonna be like throwing the kitchen fence towards, you know. Yeah, this guy, tight end, that's not bad. Okay. So I mean, I've pretty much scouted everyone that I wanted to see. Yeah, he's not bad. And we have 10 points remaining. Okay. So we'll throw it towards this guy and a linebacker. So that's using all our points first week. I know this is a super long recruitment video, but it's important to talk through what my thought process is. I'm gonna continue in a next video throughout the season, just to let you guys know how the recruiting stages are gonna continue flowing as the recruits start narrowing down their interest. Like I said, I know this is a super long video, but thank you guys for watching. I hope it was insightful. If you have any comments on the video, if you think I was doing something wrong, or if you disagreed with anything, or even if you did agree with something, please leave a comment. Let me know. I love having discussions with you guys. And stay tuned for the next video. I'm gonna go ahead and start on the next video here in a second to continue throughout the season. But that's just getting the recruiting set up for your school. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.